Welcome back. Today we're going to multiply polynomials and we'll be doing these problems from pages 27 to 28 in the green book. So let's jump in with a couple of examples about the rules of how to multiply when we're dealing with variables. Okay, I have a few examples in front of me. Now, whenever we are multiplying polynomials, in this case I have just a pair of monomials. That means there's only one term. The same rules apply. Whenever we're multiplying these variables, we're really adding the powers. So to multiply these variables, we will add the powers. Whatever the exponents are, we add them together. Now, the invisible powers here, I've marked them in, are the power of 1. When you see a variable without a power, that invisible power is 1. So in order to do this multiplication, 6x times x would really be 6 and then x squared. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Let's do another one. I have negative 5x times x cubed. Well, the negative 5 is just going to stay because it's not multiplying with any other number out here. Well, technically it's a 1. So negative 5 times 1 is a negative 5. And now I'm going to get my variable, and my new power is going to be the sum of 1 and 3, which is 4. So what's really going on here is I have negative 5 times x times, now this x cubed is really x times x times x. So if we look at this, yes, we have a negative 5, then x times itself 4 times, which is why we get the 4 here. But you've got to remember that we're adding the powers. Let's do one more. So I have negative 2x times 3x times x squared. So we can start with the first two, we can start with the last two, doesn't matter. I'm going to be in the habit of whenever we have 3 terms, multiplying the last two together first. So I'm going to rewrite this. Let's keep that guy the same, times. Now 3x times 1x squared is really 3x to the power of, let's add 1 and 2, x cubed. And now I'm just going to do the same thing again. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. X to the power of 1 times x to the power of 3 is x to the 4th power. How did I get that? I simply added my exponents. So once you've got that down, that we're adding the powers, you should be good to start the homework. Let's do number 1b. Okay, we're asked to perform the operation. In this case, our operation between these polynomials is multiplication. So here's a neat little hint that'll make your life a little bit easier. When you have a trinomial, that's 3 terms, multiplied by a binomial, it's usually easier to put the binomial in front. It just looks easier for us to deal with. Instead of spaghetti strings this way, we're just going to rewrite it first and then we'll do the distribution. Just trust me. So I'm simply rewriting it, and this is okay because remember, you can multiply 2 things in any order. 3 times 5, for example, is the same as 5 times 3. Swapping their spots doesn't affect our answer. So this is okay. Now, we're going to very carefully distribute. So we're going to start with our first term. Distribute it here. X times 3x squared gives me 3x to the power of 3. Now remember, I got that by adding the 1 and the 2 here. Next, x times plus 5x gives me positive 5x squared. And x times minus 2 gives me minus 2x. Okay, we're done distributing the first term into all 3. Now I have to distribute the second term. You've got to watch your sign. Remember, what I'm distributing now is a minus 3. So that sign, since I'm multiplying all these 3 terms by a negative number, all the signs now are going to be flipped. So minus 3 times 3x squared is minus 9x squared. And then I get minus 15x and plus 6 is the -2. Its sign flips when we multiply it by -3. Okay, now all we got to do is combine our like terms. This is basically what we were doing yesterday. So let's start with our highest power. Our highest power is right here, to the power of 3. Since it's my only one, I just copy it down. Okay, next I'm looking for powers of 2. 5x squared minus 9x squared is minus 4x squared. Okay, next powers of 1. Minus 2x minus 15x is minus 17x. And then I've just got one constant left all by itself. Ta-da! Okay, next problem. So we're on problem 2C. So it gives me a few functions, and the actual question says, for C, it says 3f of m times 2g of m. Now the only thing that sets this apart is that I've got to do one extra step, which is we have to substitute in our very first step. So I need to find what f of m is. That's that guy. Wait, I went a little too far. Okay, f of m is this trinomial right here, 1, 2, 3 terms. And then g of m is this binomial right here. Now, keep in mind, we will need our parentheses around our functions when we plug them in. No matter what, when we're multiplying, you're going to have your parentheses. So, we're going to write 3 times. Now let's plug in f of m. Notice how I open parentheses immediately. F of m is just 3m squared minus 5m plus 1. And I'm going to multiply that with 2 times, open parentheses right away, g of m is minus m cubed plus 7. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just distribute in the constants out in front and see what I'm left with. So I'm going to have 9m squared minus 15m plus 3 times, now notice, since I'm going to have 2 terms here and I have 3 terms here, they need to multiply. I still need my parentheses so I can remember to distribute it all over again. Now I have times negative 2m cubed. I multiplied 2 times negative m cubed plus 14. Cool. Now, I gave you a hint earlier, and we're going to apply it now. When I'm multiplying a trinomial, that's 3 terms, with a binomial, 2 terms, it's usually easier to put our binomial in front. And since we can multiply in any order, I'm just going to go ahead and do that without a worry. Just make sure that you're copying it down exactly the same. So minus 2m cubed plus 14 times 9m squared minus 15m plus 3. All right. Now, just got to FOIL it super carefully. So I'm going to now distribute my very first term once, twice, 3 times. Feel free to pause the video and check your work about a few seconds in. So since I'm distributing a minus 2, all my signs are going to flip. So notice I'm starting with minus 2 times 9 is negative 18. And then to get the power of m, remember I'm just adding 3 and 2. So that's m to the 5th. And then plus 30. Oh, I think I forgot to copy down an m here. Okay. So that's an invisible power of 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And then minus 2 times plus 3 is minus 6. And that's going to stay m to the 3rd. Distributed the first guy. Okay, time for the second. I think I need my calculator. So 9 times 14 is going to be 126 plus 126m squared. Now, 14 times 15 . I hope I didn't make a mistake. Okay, and that's fine. I'm sure you won't judge me for it. I'm just kidding. You're probably judging me really hard. Okay, so plus 126m squared, and then 14 times 15 I got to be 210. So then minus 210m to the power of 1. And then finally 14 times 3. Well, that's going to be 42. All right, let's combine our like terms. I'm looking for my highest power, so let's start here. There are no other m to the fifths, so I'll rewrite it. Now m to the fourths, there's only one, so I'll rewrite it. Okay, m cubed. Oh, you know what I just realized? This worked out really nicely. I don't even have any other m cubes. I don't have any other m squareds. No other m to the powers of 1. That's my only constant, so it's already ready for me. Well, that's a crazy looking answer, but we did it really carefully, so I'm good to go. Okay, problem 3b now. So this time I have 3 binomials. Remember, binomial means 2 terms. So each of these factors has 2 terms. Now, when you're presented with something like this, again, I like to multiply the last 2 guys first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 3x times x. So let me rewrite the first guy. That's just 2x plus 1. And now I'm going to do my distribution. 3x to the power of 1 times x to the power of 1 is 3x squared plus 15x minus 1x minus 5. Before I move on, notice that we can combine like terms. Don't just jump into distributing into all 4 terms, because really you can simplify the right side of this by combining these. So let's rewrite this. 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. All right, now we can do the distribution. Real careful. So that's 2x times 3x squared is 6x to the power of 1 plus 2 is 3. So again, I'm adding my exponents. Next, plus 28x squared and minus 10x. Okay, finally I'm going to distribute my second term. So since it's just a 1 that's being multiplied, 1 times 3x squared is just 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. I didn't have to really change anything. Okay, let's combine our like terms. Starting at the top. 6x cubed. X squared and x squared. So 28, remember we're just adding the coefficients. 28 plus 3 is 31. Next, minus 10x plus 14x. So minus 10 plus 14 is plus 4x. And then minus 5 at the end. So notice that you could put boxes and triangles around, or you can just underline and cross out as you go along. But at the end of the day, do whatever method gets you to the right answer. All right, last question. So problem number 4a is kind of like a word problem. Fear not. When we see rectangular prism, you just got to know that it looks like this. It's kind of like that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw it out. my rectangular prism has a length, so that'll be this guy, of 3b plus 2, a width of 2b minus 1, and then it's got a height of 4b plus 3. And I'm asked to find the polynomial that represents the volume. Well, for a shape like this, you might recall from geometry or other math classes, the volume is equal to length times width times height. And how convenient. I'm given the length, I'm given the width, and I'm given the height. So all I got to do is plug it all in. So let's start from the top. My length, I'm replacing now volume, or I'll just call it V, is equal to my length, which is 3b plus 2. And I'm multiplying, so always parentheses, times my width, which is 2b minus 1, times my height, 4b plus 3. This situation looks really similar to the last problem that we did. We had 3 binomials to multiply. Here I also have 1, 2, 3 binomials to multiply. So I'm going to, as before, focus on the last 2 and then multiply the first one out at the very end. So let's start here. We'll start by rewriting. Whoa. Okay. Volume equals. So let's do this nice and careful. That's 8b squared plus 6b minus 4b minus 3. So last time, I stopped you here and I made a note. I want to see if you remember this. What will our very next step be? You have two options. We're either distributing or we're simplifying the right side. Remember, I can combine these guys, so I'm going to simplify the right side, and that'll reduce my possibilities for making errors. So this guy becomes 8b squared plus 6b minus 4b is plus 2b minus 3. Okay, now we can distribute. First terms first. So that's going to be 24. Add the powers. 1 plus 2 is b cubed. Plus 6b squared minus 9b. Okay, second term next. We're just distributing a positive 2. So I'm just going to double plus 16b squared plus 4b minus 6. Cool. We're almost done. Like terms. Let's do it. So let's start at the top. I only have 1b cubed, so 24b cubed. Next, I have a 6b squared plus 16b squared. Let's cross those out, combine them. That's 22b squared. Next, I've got minus 9b plus 4b. So minus 9 plus 4 is minus 5b. And my loner constant. So I'm just going to give you a preview of part B now. By the way, we are finished. This is simplified. This is the polynomial that represents the volume of this rectangular prism. So we multiplied length times width times height, and we simplified it out. Now for part B, it says, find the volume if B equals 2. If B equals 2, the only thing you're going to do is plug it in. Just plug it in. And you'll get a final answer, an actual number. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. I'll see you next time.